ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणति नामिने श्रीकृष्णलीला कथने सुदक्षम् औदार्य माधुर्य गुणैश्युक्तं वरं वरुण्यं पुरुषं महन्तं नारायणं तं शिरसा नमामि। First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmadi Guru Pad Padma, Nityala Prithya Jagat Guru Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Trandi Swami Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, Namnishta Santa Shri Aniruddha Das Prabhuji, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, please accept my humble obeisances. Reading from Śrī Bṛhad-Bhāgavatatāmṛtam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 152. तेपि तन्मुखता सर्वं श्रुत्वा तत्तन्महाद्भुतं सारसंग्राहिणो अशेषम् अन्यत् सर्वं जहुर्दृढम्. All those sages who only extract the essence completely gave up at once their fruitive practices and speculation after hearing the glories of devotional service from the lips of Śrī Narad. Those sages, after hearing from the mouths of Śrī Narad all the secrets of bhakti as experienced by him, abandoned all their practices of speculative knowledge and fruitive work. The reason for this was that they were engaged in the endeavor to accept the essential truth completely, namely the excellent portions. Text 153. Kevalam paramam dainyam avalambhyasya shikshaya Shriman Madana Gopala Charanabjam Upasada. According to the advice of Śrī Narad, the sages began to worship the lotus feet of Śrī Madan Gopal with divine complete humility. Is the abandonment of one's object the sign of seeking the essence? Anticipating this question, he speaks the lines beginning with Kevala. No, they completely abandon karma, jnana and other forms of sadhan to begin only the worship of the lotus feet of Shriman Madan Gopal Dev with complete divine humility. What was the nature of that humility? Considering themselves unsuccessful, they thought, we have not accomplished our object. We do not possess even the slightest devotional sentiment for the lotus feet of Bhagavan. This kind of feeling of anxiety is humility, dainya. The mercy of Bhagavan is attainable only through this type of humility. Therefore, they all engaged in the bhajan of Bhagavan, which is rooted in humility. Matar gopa kishoram tam tvam charasara sambudhim tat prema mohita bhi Śrī Gopī bhirvito vrutam amusham dasamichanti tadrusha prema bhangibhi nityam bhajasva tannama sankirtana parayana. O mother, you should also do bhajan daily of Gopa Kishore, that youthful cowherd boy who is enchanted by the prema of the gopis, who is the ocean of nectar of Rasa Leela, and who the gopis all surround. You should also engage in Nama Sankirtan with loving devotion while desiring the service of the gopis. In this way, having finished his narration, Shri Parikshit sums up the purport of the entire narration to his mother by the lines beginning with Mata. O mother, you should also do bhajan with the desire of obtaining the servitorship of the gopis. Namely, daily perform bhajan of Gopa Kishore, the young cowherd boy, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is embellished with glories by the flow of prema. How is that Gopa Kishore? He is an ocean of nectarian pastimes such as Rasa Leela. Namely, he is an ocean of nectarian raga, divine attachment in the pastimes of rasa. In addition, he is a steady shelter of the nectar of rasa or topmost bliss, thus enchanted by the gopis' love towards Gopa Kishore. Therefore, perform bhajan of that Gopa Kumar, who the gopis surround in the circle of the rasa dance. If you say that I am the wife of his nephew, it would be against the customs of society to worship him with the sentiment of the gopis. Therefore, he says, do bhajan desiring to become the maid servant of the gopis. What are the main characteristics of that bhajan? Anticipating this question, he says that you should engage in the Nama Sankirtan of Gopa Kishore. That is, do the Sankirtan of the names that belong to Gopa Kumar, or do the Sankirtan of the names of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is famous among those divine names. Here, Sankirtan means to sing the glories of the names in a loud and sweet voice with a sweet sentiment. In this way, Nama Kirtan is the feature of this bhajan with prema and is the characteristic of that prema sampatti too, or the wealth of prema. Text 156. Gopī namma kaśchit tāsām ekōpi shakyate namaya swamukhe kartum merurmakshitaya yatha. Just as beasts cannot lift Mount Sumeru with their heads, similarly I cannot vocalize the glories of even one gopī among all those gopis. If Śrī Uttara Devi says, in order for me to perform bhajan, to understand the glories of the gopis with the desire of becoming a maid servant, then you, Parikshit Maharaj, should elaborate on the glories of the gopis. Anticipating this doubt, Śrī Parikshit says that he is unable to describe even a tiny bit of the glories of a single gopī among all those gopis. There is an analogy in this regard. Just as bees cannot lift up the most formidable of mountains, Sumeru, with their heads, similarly I am incapable of describing their glories, being unfit to do so. 157 and 158. Aho Krishnarsa Vishta Sada Namani Kirtayet Krishnasya Tat Priyanam Cha Vaishmiya Dinam Gurur Mama Gopinam Vitadadbhuta Sputatara Premanalar Chichata Dagdhanam Kira Nama Kirtana Krita Tasam Visheshat Smriti Tatikshna Jarano Shikhagrah Kadika Sparshena Sadyo Maha Vaikalpyam Sabhajan Kadapi Namukhe Namani Kartu Prabhu. Alas, although my Gurudev is deeply absorbed in the melody of constantly chanting and singing Śrī Kṛṣṇa's names of beloved Śrī Rukmini and so forth, nonetheless, he is unable to utter the names of the Braja Gopis. The reason is that the Gopis are always smoldering in the blazing fire of an unreserved, remarkable form of prema that has reached its utmost limit. Thus, in the process of glorifying the gopis, a special remembrance awakens, and Gurudev becomes agitated by a mere touch of a spark of the poignant, blazing hearts of the gopis. So much so that he cannot even chant the gopis' names. What to speak of singing the glories of the gopis, my Gurudev Śrī Sukdev Goswami is unable to utter their names. If even reminded of them, a timid helplessness in prema vivashata arises in him from simply singing their names, and as a result a fear of creating an obstacle in his Śrī Bhagavat Kirtan, Bhagavat Katha, which is his very life. Therefore he confides in these two shlokas beginning with Aho. My Gurudev Śrī Badrayani, Śrī Shukdev always sings the names of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, beloved Śrī Rukmini and others. The reason is that he always remains absorbed in deep attachment, anurag towards Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Rather, he remains absorbed in the mellow of topmost bliss of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Paramananda Rasa. My master can never allow the names of such gopis as Śrī Radha and Śrī Chandravali issue forth from his lips aloud. The reason is that the splendid glories of the gopis culminate in the utmost limits with the blazing flames of extraordinary, vast and deeply apparent prema. This helplessness arises by performing full glorification, sankirtana of the names of such gopis. This state of helplessness comes about by their remembrance and simply by the touch of the tip of the flame of that poignant fire which arises by their special memory. Therefore, my Gurudev would become disturbed at that moment as soon as he would perform Nama Kirtan of their names. Thus, he would never allow their names to issue forth from his mouth. In the 10th canto, their names are expressed in a covert way, not openly. For example, Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 29th chapter, 5th verse, and 15th, 16th, and 26th verse. Duyanto abhiyayo kashit, doham hitva samutsuka, payodhishritya samyavam Anudvasya parayayu. One gopi was milking the cow, and without finishing the milking, she left. Another gopi was boiling the milk, and when the milk had almost boiled, she left without taking off the milk. Another was preparing daliya, a type of bulgur, wheat porridge, on the oven, and when almost finished, she went away without removing it from the oven. Kasyaschit putanyayantya krishnayati api vatsanam tokayitva rudati anya padahan shakatayiti. A gopī who imitated Krishna began to act as if she sucked the bosom of the gopī who imitated Putana. Another gopī began imitating the Shakata Bhanjan, the breaking of the cart, that is, imitating Shakatasur by standing on her hands and feet on the ground while facing downwards and raising the trunk of her body upwards. Another gopī lay on the ground like Balkrishna and while crying kicked the other gopī by her feet. Taistai padaistat padavim anvichantyo agrato vala vadva padaisu pruktani vilokyartha samabruvam. Though all these feeble covered girls, Abala gopis, became helpless due to their separation and search, still they followed the footprints along the path during their search for Śrī Kṛṣṇa. And upon seeing these signs of Śrī Kṛṣṇa's 19 symbols, such as a flag, shark, lotus, thunderbolt, and elephant goad for driving elephants, they began to speak together in great distress on seeing the footprints of Śrī Kṛṣṇa mixed with the footprints of his pure beloved Vallabha. Having taken darshan of the footprints of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, they could not see the footprints of that most fortunate gopī Śrī Radha, because Śrī Kṛṣṇa had brought her by carrying her in his lap. Now in the beginning they had darshan of the nectar of her lotus feet. They followed those footprints, decorated by the marks of the flag. The footprints disappeared in the midst of their search due to the grass on the earth. Then after searching at another place, they found the footprints of the divine couple. Then it is recorded in Bhagavatam 10 canto 38 chapter 35, 36 and 38 verses. Yam gopim anayat Krishno vihayanya striyo vane sachamene tadatmana varishtham sarvayoshitam. In this way all the gopis, having pointed out all those footprints to one another, began to wander in a maddened condition. Śrī Kṛṣṇa abandoned all other gopis in the forest and calmly brought one particular gopī in a solitary place. When that beautiful gopī thought herself to be superior to all the other Ramanis, her mind nevertheless became full of fortunate pride like the other gopis. In other words, she thought that beloved Śrī Kṛṣṇa, whose glories are limitless, has abandoned all the gopis who had come to the forest for loving pastimes, and he is performing loving pastimes with me alone in this solitary place. Tatas chantar dadhe Krishna savadhur anvatapyata. Thinking like this, on going some distance with Śrī Kṛṣṇa in the forest, she very proudly told Śrī Keshava, I am unable to walk now. Please lift me on your shoulders and carry me as before. You can take me to a grove where no one can enter, or to a kusuma kanana, a saffron flowery forest, and decorate me with flowers or whatever you like. Śrī Kṛṣṇa, hearing these words of his beloved, replied, Then climb upon my shoulders. And then when the beautiful Ramani tried to climb upon his shoulder, Śrī Kṛṣṇa disappeared. That beautiful Ramani became agitated to get the darshan of Krishna and began to lament repeatedly. Telling of their meeting, he says, Bhagavatam 10 canto 32nd chapter, verse 4 and 5. Kachit karam bhujam shaurer jagruhe anjalina muda kachit dadhara tadbahum amse chandana bhushitam. Upon meeting, some gopī went to the left side of Śrī Kṛṣṇa and put her hand, anointed by sandalwood paste, upon his shoulder. Kachit anjalina grunat tanvi tambula charvitam ekatat angri kamalam santaptastanayoradhat. Some Rajasundari spread her prayerful palms to accept the chewed tambul from Śrī Kṛṣṇa's lotus mouth. Someone agitated by her kama, divine passion, placed the right foot of Śrī Kṛṣṇa over her heart. In addition, it says Bhagavatam 10 canto 33rd chapter, verse 9 and 14. Kachit samam mukundena swarajatir amishrita unniye pujita tena priyata sadhu sadhu iti tadeva dhruvam unnine tassai manam cha bhavadat. Some gopis sang in a pure musical meter with Mukunda, and though she sang the Swaralap melody along with Śrī Mukunda, still her melody remained distinct from Śrī Kṛṣṇa's. Śrī Kṛṣṇa became pleased and honored her by exclaiming, Sadhu, Sadhu! काश्चित् तत्कृतहृत्ताप श्वासम्लानमुखश्रिया स्रंसद्दुकूलवलया केशग्रन्थयश्चकाश्चन. Some gopis felt so pained at heart, their faces turned pale from heavy sighing. Others became so anguished that their dresses, bracelets, and braids loosened. Still further on in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10 Canto 47 chapter 11th verse, Kachin madhukaram drishtva dhyayanti Krishna sangamam priya prasthapitam dutam kalpayitvedam abravit. Some gopi, upon seeing a bumblebee and supposing it to be a messenger sent by her beloved to break her man, spoke as follows: O Madhukar, bumblebee, friend of a cheater, do not touch my feet. I see that your whiskers are smeared with the kumkum that rubbed off of Krishna's garland when crushed by the bosom of a rival spouse. In this way, Shukdev in so many shlokas merely used such words as kaschit, kasyachit, and so on to refer to the gopis, and ended his narration with their glories, yet he could not utter their names openly. If the question then comes, could he not utter the names of the gopis out of awe and reverence? He replies, it is not proper to make such an assumption, since our Shri Gurudev, being fully absorbed in the divine melody of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, was unable to utter their names. Therefore, by using the term Krishna Rasa Vishta, absorbed in the divine melody of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, he removed the doubt about awe and reverence. In other words, he could never utter their names because he was fully absorbed in the divine melody of Krishna. Text 159. Tasam natham vallavinam sametam tavi premna samshrayanti tathoktam. Tasam natham vallavinam sametam tavi premna samshrayanti yathoktam. Mata satyam tat prasadan mahatvam tasam nyatum sakshati. Tasam nyatum sakshasi tvam jakinchit. Tasam natham vallavinam sametam tavi premna samshrayanti yatoktam. Mata satyam tat prasadan mahatvam tasam nyatum sakshasi tam jakinchit. A mother, if you do bhajan of Shri Gopinath with the affection and prema encountered in such pastimes as the Rasa Leela of the gopis, then by his mercy you will genuinely be able to understand some of the glories of the gopis too. If you question that without knowledge indicates the glories of the gopis, then how can that loving bhajan with the desire of being a maidservant become attainable? For this reason alone, he is speaking the verse beginning with Tasam of the gopis. O Mata, do bhajan with affection and love, prema of that self-same Sri Gopinath who met with the gopis in such activities as the Rasa Leela. Specifically, that bhajan without transgressing the process of devotional service, upasana, narrated by me before. Here the meaning of performing bhajan properly is that only when you serve completely without transgressing the rules mentioned in the scriptures, name the rules spoken by me, then only by the mercy of that self-same Shri Vallavinath and the gopis, you be able to slightly understand their indescribable glories. The connotation is that I am unable to describe the glories of those gopis by my own mouth, and even if I describe them slightly, you would not be able to retain them completely. Therefore, you will understand some of their glories yourself when you perform bhajan according to the process. Only then shall you be able to perform bhajan truly. In this way, the Bhagavad bhajan or devotional service of Bhagavan and the knowledge of the glories of the gopis are seen to be the effect, karja, and the cause, karana, respectively. Although it is said everywhere that the knowledge of the glories of Bhagavan and the bhaktas alone leads to prema bhakti, it is only after knowing the glories of the gopis, who are the best among devotees, that the special glories of all the devotees of Bhagavan can be understood with full spontaneity. Text 160. Etan mahakhyana varam mahare karunya saralaya nischayartham sashraddaya samshrayate kathanchan prapnoti tat prema tathaiva sopyaram. एतन्माख्यानवरं हरे कारुण्यसारालय निश्चयार्थकं सश्रद्धया संश्रयते कथंचन प्राप्नोति तत्प्रेम तथैव सोऽप्यरम्. Whoever faithfully hears, chants, or somehow or other nicely accepts shelter of this supremely divine narration in which the recipients of the essence of Śrī Kṛṣṇa's mercy is ascertained, shall also quickly obtain that same gopī prema towards Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Oh, by taking refuge of the Shastras in this way, this Bhagavat prema, the wealth of bhajan, is achievable upon realizing the unique glories of the gopis. What is the benefit of further expounding upon this subject? The scripture continually speaks of the glories of the gopis. That is, this great narration aims at ascertaining the recipient of Śrī Kṛṣṇa's mercy by the process of Shravan, Kirtan, and so forth to achieve that prema. Here the present verse beginning with Etan explains this. The gopis are the abode or essence of the mercy of the magnificent Hari, Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chandra. This marvelous narration, Śrī Bṛhad-Bhāgavatatāmṛtam, describes the process of loving bhajan of such gopis with Śrī Gopinath, and this narration ascertains the ultimate goal, prayojan. Those who with firm faith and confidence accept the complete shelter of this narration, and those who fully serve this narration by Shravan, Kirtan, and so on, shall very quickly obtain that same gopī prema towards magnificent Hari, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. What more can be said regarding this subject? May that Śrī Kṛṣṇa bhakti, which can melt this stone-like heart and dance upon my head, be pleased with me. Thus ends the chapter 7 entitled Purna, the pinnacle of excellent devotees, with the Digdarshini Tika Bhavanuvad of Śrī Bṛhad-Bhāgavatatāmṛtam. End of part 1. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpataruvesya kripa sindhubheva cha परितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. जय जय श्री राधे.